Hello, and welcome back to Killer Score, the podcast that covers cult classic films with killer soundtracks and scores that we believe deserve more attention. And, soundtracks too. We like those. We like them all around here. Anyway, we are going to talk about a film that I am completely unfamiliar with, outside of the very funny remake of it. I am talking about the 1973?
Yes.
1973 film, The Wicker Man.
All right, and I am going to clarify once and for all that this is on the original, the one that didn't completely miss the point and wasn't mainly famous for Nicolas Cage giving an iconically hammy performance and drowning it in a sea of memes. Yeah. So yeah, let's get them all out of our system now. No, not the bees. They're in my eyes. How to get burned.
Yeah. Punching the bear punching a lady.
Woman getting drop kicked into a wall by Nicolas Cage. What's in the bag? A shark or something?
Erin.
Gifts in there.
Yeah. Gifts on gifts on gifts.
Yeah.
Editing Richie's gonna hate all of you, but who cares? Anyway, Erin, this is your show.
Just making sure the cord's not going to get stuck.
Wow, you got a promotion.
I did get a promotion. It's my episode. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, I picked this movie for a couple reasons. One, it seemed appropriate. It is the month of May. The film does take place at May Day or Midsummer or wherever you want to call it. 1st of May, basically. Around that time period, kind of like the week leading up to it. But I picked this film because I was, this is honestly one of the seminal folk horror films. If you're into folk horror, you need to watch this movie.
Fans of Midsommar, mandatory viewing for you.
Yeah, this is kind of like the blueprint. Like, I know there was, I think there was some folk horror
like
before
Witchfinder
these.
General, Blood on Satan's Claw.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this is but as Dalton said, this is like the blueprint for folk horror as we know it. The film itself was, as we said, released in 1973, directed by Robin Hardy, and starring I'm going to struggle with this name throughout the entire movie. Edward Woodward.
Yeah.
See, I told you.
Tougher than it seems,
isn't
it?
Yeah.
He is he was actually more well known as being a TV actor before he was in this film.
Yeah, I feel like I might have heard of him on something or seen him on something.
Yeah, he did.
Was he on some cop show? I feel like he was on.
He was on the original Equalizer.
Oh.
And he was on a British spy show called Callan. I'm not familiar with that one.
Callan?
Yeah.
Callen?
A-N.
Oh yeah, I know Callan.
Oh yeah. It's probably on BritBox or something. I just haven't seen it.
No, I know it too because Big Finish does audios for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of jumping around my notes a bit, but this movie.
I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. Double check it.
It also stars Britt Eklund, Diane Salento, Ingrid Pitt, and the unforgettable Christopher Lee.
Legend.
Of course,
everyone's heard of Christopher Lee. If you know anything about movies, you know Christopher Lee.
The man who may or may not have inspired the actual James Bond.
It's a possibility. It's never been confirmed, but it's a theory.
Oh yeah, it does exist. Big Finish did do a Callan audio series actually.
So
I have another way of connecting one of our things to Doctor Who.
Of course. So
Killer Score, also known as 6 Degrees of Doctor Who.
Yes.
From D.
Yep. So if you're not familiar with this movie or the plot of it, it centers around a very devout Christian police sergeant who's named Neil Howie. He gets sent on assignment to the Outer Hebrides, which is this island off the coast of Scotland. It's a fictional island called Summer Isle to investigate the disappearance of a young girl. This island, Kilton Celtic paganism is still like 100% alive, and that's like their main religion. So he's like horrified when he gets there, and a lot of weird shit goes down.
Weird shit and weird cinematography.
I love the cinematography in this, but more for later on that.
And of course, I looked it up. He was also on EastEnders, because if you're not in Doctor Who, you're on EastEnders. And or there's a chance you've been on both.
Yeah. So
dimensions and time exist.
Yeah, literally. For those that are aware, it was the 40th? No, 30th. It was the 30th anniversary special for Doctor Who. It was the first thing of TV of Doctor Who in 4 years, and it's bad.
It's a EastEnders crossover. Basically.
Yeah, it's never gotten an official like re-release, I think. And it's a crossover between Doctor Who and EastEnders, which is as weird as it sounds.
Yeah, it sounds like fan fiction.
Yeah,
and it literally featured every still alive TV Doctor at the time. So Docs 3 through 7 appeared in the special.
Pretty much the only connection is that they're both British, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That'd be like if you crossed Firefly with Law and Order.
Yet it gets more confusing because I'm pretty sure they refer to EastEnders as a TV show later in the continuity.
Paradox.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Time travel.
Anywho.
Doctor Who.
Timey-wimey. Anyway.
I mean, if you want to get more confusing, they refer to Star Trek as a TV show and Doctor Who, and there's a comic book where Star Trek and Doctor Who cross over. Figure that one out.
There's a horror movie called Alien. It's offensive if you're an alien.
Yeah.
You're from another planet.
So,
one of my favorite Doctors.
So, as indicated by my silently judging D for having only seen the remake and not the original, they are the uninitiated, and though I have seen it, it's been way too long for me to reliably say that my opinion it will be the same.
That's fair.
I remember seeing it in high school and loving it because of it was one of a string of movies I was shown that kind of subverted religious dynamics in movies.
Mm-hmm.
And
did you go to Catholic school?
Yes, but that doesn't I did, but they would still show us some movies that were
not Jesus of Nazareth on a loop.
Yeah, believe it or not.
Really?
I got shown
Our God is an awesome God.
No, it's more of a Protestant thing.
Yeah.
I got shown Saved, believe it or not, if you've ever heard of that movie.
I have not.
No.
Hello.
Hey, what movie is it with? Hey, Scotty, Jesus, man.
Don't know.
Jesus, bro. Oh yeah. Hey, Scotty, Jesus, bro.
I don't know what that is.
Pretty crazy.
But Saved is a potential podcast episode that it's a teen comedy with
Second Glance. That's it.
Teen comedy with Jenna Malone, Macaulay Culkin, Eva Green, I believe. About a Catholic girl trying and failing to convert her boyfriend back when she finds out he's gay. But it's a long story, and it subverts a lot of yikesy tropes in good ways.
Okay, then.
Really? Maybe that's a story for another day.
Yeah,
Anyway.
'cause I'm just like, my Catholic experience was completely different from that.
I didn't.
So was mine.
I was just saying, you weren't raised Catholic.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I had a completely different Catholic experience.
Zing!
That was a good one.
That was
A
good.
good one.
But mostly I watched The Wicker Man because of my love for Christopher Lee and the way too many underrated movies that were included on Bravo's 100 Scariest Movie Moments list.
That's true.
Look, man, my family's mainly Methodist, so my experience with Protestants is with Catholics is basically they're the weird ones.
Or it's like, you met my family.
Yeah. That's literally basically how it was with Methodists. They're just the Catholics are kind of weird.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like Saved would be fun. You like Jenna Malone, right?
Yeah. I just imagine being a Methodist where you just go to the church and you just sit down and the pastor's just like, hey, man.
It's basically...
We're going to talk about the Bible. And it's like,
I got it.
Hymn, you know?
D, I got it. Perfect way to describe Saved.
Yeah.
It's the anti-fundamentalist version of Mean Girls.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they do that, and they're like, we're just gonna talk about Jesus and stuff, and sing a little song, read a little Bible, and then you go to a Catholic ceremony. It's like, why is there like a dude in an elaborate outfit swinging a smoking object back and forth?
That's incense.
That's incense, yeah.
Yeah, and you're just
you
like,
don't really get that in like the really big cathedrals.
Yeah, and it's all, I know it's a special thing.
Yeah.
It's like for like midnight mass and that kind of stuff.
So, Wicker Man.
Wicker Man.
Loved this movie when I first saw it.
Same.
I viscerally despise you sometimes.
Well, I mean, when I saw The Wicker Man 2004, I loved it the first time I saw it.
We're talking about 1973.
Good year.
Their day... Erin, you know their day is not complete unless they're throwing a wrench in the system.
It's amazing I'm able to work with customer service.
Yeah.
You know what? That is a level of moderation that is admittedly impressive. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, one of these days I'm going to quit in a really crazy way.
We'll escort you out.
God damn it. Anyway.
Do a dog walker. For those unaware, look up the video of Dog Walker quitting his shop.
Yeah, it's
admittedly pretty great.
Yeah, it is. So this movie is one that I love for its acting and especially its cinematography. My lord, the atmosphere. And one thing that I think sold it was the performances of the two actors you mentioned, Edward Woodward and Christopher Lee.
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way, I double-checked. Edward Woodward was on, like, every cop show. And if he wasn't a main character, he was in at least, like, one episode.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's basically...
I looked at Wikipedia, and I'm like, I do not know any of these.
Like, I know a decent amount of British cop shows, and that's only because... A, I've seen a lot of Top Gear, and they reference old British cop shows. And B, I've seen Life on Mars, which is a throwback to those 1970s cop shows.
That's true.
And they directly name drop some of those 1970s cop shows in the show.
So basically, what you're saying is Woodward was basically British Eric Estrada.
Yeah, because he even like showed up on like an episode of The Saint, which was one of the really big like British cop shows. I think even your dad's mentioned The Saint before.
I think my dad has mentioned that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Erin, continue.
Your dad loves British stuff.
My dad's an Anglophile, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, continue. Sorry, Erin.
So the screenplay is done by Anthony Schaefer, who wrote the Tony Award-winning play Sleuth. He was more of a playwright, but he also did some screenplays, including the Alfred Hitchcock film Frenzy. So yeah, he worked with Hitchcock.
Oh.
And the music is by Paul Giovanni, who hasn't really done much musically. I couldn't find much on IMDb, or his Wikipedia page just mentions the plays he wrote because he was more of a playwright. But it's interesting because like he was dating Anthony Schaefer's brother.
Okay.
Cool.
And that's how they met each other. And then they were like, "Hey, I have this idea for a movie from this book I read called Ritual."
Oh yeah, it was based on a book.
Well, loosely based on a book. There's a lot of liberties taken.
Allegedly.
But I have it written down here somewhere. No, it's somewhere in here. But anyway, the guy who wrote the book, I have it in here somewhere. I'm blanking on his name. It's in here. Whatever. Anyway, the guy who wrote the book Ritual originally wrote that as a screenplay. It got turned down, so he turned it into a novel. And then Anthony Schaefer read it and was like, "Hey, let's turn this into a movie." And he's like, "Well, my brother's dating this guy, and he does some music on the side. You want to do the music for my movie?
Sometimes it's just about who you know.
Yeah.
David Piner?
Yes, David Piner, thank you. And Christopher Lee got involved because he was getting tired of Hammer horror. He had been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
This was after all of his Dracula movies.
Yeah. And he wanted to do a film based on a quote-unquote old religion. So he went to, he met with Schaefer, later met with Robin Hardy, who was the director, as we mentioned, and Peter Snell.
Peter Smell.
I'm sorry, Peter Snell.
We're sorry, Peter Smell.
We're sorry.
If you're still alive.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
Who was the head of British Lion Films, which was this big, moderately big film studio back in the day, but they were having a lot of financial trouble. Halfway through production, they got bought out by EMI Films. So imagine going to work one day and be like, yeah, by the way, we're a different company now, but you still have to finish this movie.
Oh, jeez. This sounds like almost as much of a crazy production as when we covered House of...
Yeah. Oh, it gets worse.
Oh my god.
Wait, really?
So, I think I mentioned this to you a different time, but Britt Eklund, 2 weeks into filming, found out she was 3 months pregnant.
Yep.
And she was supposed to be doing a lot of nude scenes.
Oh god.
So they had to use a body double.
Yeah.
And
one scene in particular is like infamous.
Pretty obvious.
well, yeah, she's like dancing against a wall naked and that.
That's
kind of
like a trademark scene of the movie, to the point where there's actually a pretty close shot homage to it in The Cabin in the Woods.
Oh yeah.
With the one character who does the same pose over the over the fireplace.
Yeah. But anyway, so they used a body double for that. Also, Britt Eklund is Swedish.
Okay.
So they also used, they also had to dub over her, they also dubbed over her speaking and singing, because I guess she couldn't do a Scottish accent.
What was the point of casting her?
They just really wanted her in the movie.
Okay.
In all fairness, we've worked with a lot of actors with very thick Swedish accents who had to adapt, let's say.
Britt Eklund, she plays the innkeeper's daughter. The innkeeper that...
Hey, Bowie.
Hey, Bowie. That, Neil Howie, the character, is staying at. It was filmed on location in Scotland and England. They filmed at a lot of castles and, like, actually in the islands, the Hebrides. And it actually inspired a Wicker Man festival in Dundrennan, Scotland, which ran through 2015.
Nice.
It stopped in 2015 because the guy who started the festival passed away, and they're like, they just didn't want to keep doing it.
Oh, okay.
Probably expensive.
Yeah, because it was like a whole like music festival where they think like Burning Man, but more music based and less insane. Well, I don't know if it was less insane, but like less naked people running around. It was supposed to be more of a kid friendly festival, but they still like burned a giant Wicker Man on the first night.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. There's like this place in Sweden, I want to say, where there's like a big goat.
Oh, yeah. The one that they have to get to Christmas without it burning down and it never happens.
Almost never. There's been
it
a
did
couple
happen like
years.
twice.
Yeah, and it's funny because it seems like every time that the goat hasn't been burnt down, something bad happens.
Oh, so it's like a curse thing?
Yeah, almost,
Kinda, yeah. Because like this town built a giant like straw and wicker goat every year. And if it makes it to Christmas, they have like a big celebration. But at this point, if it doesn't get burned down, it's kind of bad luck. Oh, Gobble, yeah.
Goat.
Yeah.
Sweden.
Yeah, Jävelbroken. Yeah, I think that's Jävelbroken. Yeah, the Jävelbroken goat. It's...
Hey,
If anyone speaks
Sorry,
Swedish...
my Swedish isn't as good as my German.
Hey,
It is Swedish, though.
Hey, Mr. Rogues. If you're still following me long after doing Two-Face and stuff...
I can't goat in Iceland? What the fuck?
I don't know. We're throwing down.
If you still follow D and me long after we've done voice work for you, please translate that for us.
By the way,
It just means gobble goat.
Can I just talk about the fact that there's a Wikipedia page that has a tab set that says repeated destruction? That might be my favorite tab I've seen on a Wikipedia page.
One thing I'm really impressed by is Wikipedia's ability to just dryly present the most crazy shit.
Yeah. So, a couple other things.
Belief in organ and energy.
Hi, Bowie.
Hey, Bowie.
A couple other things I wanted to mention. One is that this film got cut 20 minutes for time by the studio. The studio kept cutting. The total was 20 minutes. Actually, I think the total in between different versions was as much as 33 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Because the studios and the distributors kept saying, you gotta cut this, you gotta cut this, you gotta cut this. And the studio wanted it to have a happy ending. They lost that argument. You'll see what we mean.
Can't we have an ending where they all just get along?
Yeah, they wanted an ending where it's like everyone lives and everyone's happy.
Yeah.
For this movie?
Yeah, that's what the studio wanted.
I love the idea of making a horror movie where the ending is just like, you know what? We might have our differences, but we can all just get along.
Yeah.
I'll take missing the point for 300, Alex.
Yep.
That's what I want. Now I want the cut of Freddy versus Jason where they're just like, you know what? Why are we doing this?
And Jason's just like,
and he's just like, let's get a beer. And they just walk. They
just walk arm in arm into the sunset or sunrise.
You know what I'm thinking of? Get Together by the Youngbloods is playing. Come on, people now, smile on the road. Time to get together and love one another
they're
right
just
now.
walking off arm in arm into the sunset, and the other, and the human, the regular survivor characters are just like,
what the fuck?
It just
the final girl is like, what the fuck is going on? I'm going to therapy.
There's like a.
I had a whole line ready for when I kill you.
And there's like a freeze frame.
I just imagine that final girl in therapy, like a year later, being like, I had a final word, and I couldn't use it.
Yeah. I was gonna say I was gonna say welcome to my nightmare, bitch, and I was gonna hit him with the machete, but it didn't happen.
So fuck.
So fuck.
Wicker Man.
Yeah.
Wicker Man. Yeah, because there's so many cuts and versions of this film, it kind of fell in obscurity a little bit because by 1977, actually. So the film came out in 1973, got released in North America in 1974, and then people just kind of forgot about it for a while. Until Cinema Fantastique called it the Citizen Kane of horror movies in one of their magazines.
Oh, fair assessment.
And which kind of brought some interest back into the film.
I can't see why a heaping praise like that would bring it in.
Yeah, and Cinema Fantastique was like a really big magazine back in the day.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. Mark Gatiss called this a masterpiece of folk horror.
That tracks.
Yeah, because Mark Gatiss loves anything British.
It was,
and folk horror.
And folk horror in general.
It was basically the bedrock of folk horror in film.
Yeah, because the only two British folk horror films I can think of before this were Blood on Satan's Claw and Witchfinder General.
Bowie, you are...
He just really wants attention.
And to be in the episode, I think.
Yeah. Roger Corman was sent a copy of the film for North American distribution, and he wanted to cut another 13 minutes.
Oh my god.
And then Warner Brothers stepped in and said, we'll take it.
Okay.
And that's how it got released over here. Basically, that's a lot of my notes that aren't, spoilerific.
So I guess we can save the others for the after the screening.
After the screening.
Yeah. Yeah, we can save the rest of the notes for after the screening. Unfortunately, we don't have a physical... Well, I think we do have a physical copy of it somewhere, but I'm pretty sure it's on a VHS tape, and we don't have a VCR.
I do, however, have a little blurb for our uninitiated to read once Bowie is done with his pets.
Sure. Sergeant Howie, Woodward, arrives on the small Scottish island of Somers Isle to investigate the report of a missing child. A conservative Christian, the policeman observes the residents' frivolous sexual displays and strange pagan rituals.
Hi, Bowie.
Particularly the temptation of Willow, daughter of the island magistrate, Lord Somers Isle. The more Sergeant Howie learns about the islanders' strange practices, the closer he gets to tracking down the missing child. And there you go.
There you go. So, this actually wasn't that long of an intro.
No.
I'm kind of proud of that.
Well, that's because you actually have more focus than both of us combined.
Yeah, I have the attention of a wandering gerbil. Don't ask me what that means. I don't know. I just came up with it.
Is that the note we're segueing on?
Yeah, wandering
Really?
gerbil.
Okay.
Sure. We'll segue on that, sure.
Wandering gerbil in 3.
2-1. We're watching the movie. Go watch it. Before we get into watching it, you can find this movie, it's streaming on some random streaming services. It's no longer on Shudder. It's on Tubi, Pluto, and... Fubo, Pluto. And you can rent it on Apple
Prime?
TV or... Not Prime. You can rent it on Apple TV or you can rent it on...
Zingalamadoonie.
Fandango. Close enough. And you can find a DVD or Blu-ray copy online pretty cheap. So, segue. Go watch it. And we're back. We just finished watching the 1973 original Wicker Man.
And we changed positions to screw with you.
Yes, we did.
Much like the movie does.
Ooh.
Kinda, yeah. So this is a movie that I've loved for years. I think I was probably in high school when I first watched it. I want to say I was in high school. I was on like a whole folk horror movie kick at the time. Yeah, I know. This is me.
You
I was
still are.
Well, the thing is, I was first getting into horror movies when I was in high school.
That's still like your favorite subgenre of horror.
Second to found footage.
Yeah.
When it's done well.
And I'm
well,
gonna
no wonder No Roy is your favorite film. It's basically found footage,
folk horror. Exactly, yeah.
I'm gonna blow some minds.
And another reason why I love it, because it's found footage folk horror mixed with eldritch horror.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And documentary.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blow your mind too with another observation. I'm slightly partial to cowboy movies.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
So...
Richie, do you have any opinions on the scores of Ennio Morricone?
I quite like them, believe it or not. Only tied, in my opinion, with the scores of Nino Rota.
Okay, I gotta ask. Of the Dollars trilogy, which of the films has your favorite score? For me, it's easy. It's actually super easy for me.
Really?
Let's see how in sync we are. Tell me.
For a few dollars more.
Yes. Underrated.
Because specifically for the shootout at the end,
Yes.
Time by the Music Box,
Yes.
that music box score, oh, I love it so much.
Progenitor to a lot of good synced music and stuff, but I apologize. We are talking about the Wicker Man.
Not for a few dollars.
Not the Dollars trilogy.
I've got my thoughts on
We
revisit.
still have, but we do. If you love seeing us geek out about stuff like that, we do still have requests to sell.
12.
Yes.
$50 a pop.
And we'll cover whatever for those. So we could cover something as big as the Dollars movie.
We could cover Good Burger.
Yeah, we could cover Good Burger. We could cover for a few dollars more. We could cover, if you want to be an asshole, you can make me watch Manos the Hands of Fate.
Yeah. I mean, you can have us watch The Room again. We've all already seen it, but you can make us watch it again.
That
you
said,
can force us to talk about the score of The Room.
Alright then.
You are my rose. You are my rose. Repeat 5 more times.
Anyway, I've got my thoughts on revisiting this movie. All of them awesome, but enough about.
Let's ask the uninitiated.
Oh shit, yeah. Good point.
I was saying.
Uninitiated thoughts.
Okay, so shock of all shocks, this is quite a different beast from the Nicolas Cage version.
Well, yeah.
For one, there's a seaplane involved, which is a lot different because in the Cage version, he just takes a ferry.
True.
Yeah. There's no bear punch.
It's a punch.
Yeah, there's a punch. Yeah. There's no shark. There's no what's in the bag shark or something. Definitely more atmospheric. Definitely a lot more musical, which is one of those things people don't expect if they don't know about it going in. I did know about it just because, like, I've seen reviews of this film before and stuff like that, and I've heard
people bring up the music.
People bring up, it's basically kind of a musical,
semi-musical.
Yeah. It's got a very good cast, I will say. I really enjoy the cast.
Bowie, please be careful.
The
Bowie, I may have
cinematography is very good. Yeah, you'll want to be careful. He can get nippy. Cinematography is good. I really like the lighting in this film. Lighting's pretty solid.
Especially with natural lighting.
Yeah. The lighting's very naturalistic, and it works for this because it's a movie. A lot of it's outdoors, and a lot of it's and it's a movie about nature, and traditions and stuff like that. And if anything, this is a movie about you can't trust those damn Christians, and they ruin everything. And they love to butt their nose into things that are not their business and act like it is their business.
Gotta love the non-political ones, eh?
Yeah. No, I don't know. What, is that relevant to something right now? Is that relevant to something right now? Coincidentally, I just read Fun Home, a book that's not controversial and has not been banned from libraries. Go read Fun Home.
It is a good read.
It is. It's very good. So I enjoyed it. I'm a little tired, so I wasn't like the most astute with this, but it was a nice watch. Not like a nice watch. It's not like it was
a good watch.
It's a good watch. It's not an uplifting film. Honestly, from a certain point of view, the ending is certainly uplifting in a way.
They lift him up.
And then something goes down. So I guess not super uplifting. Well, the sun's kind of
there's a tonal dissonance.
I will say, I think a highlight for me with this movie, aside from the costume design, which I actually really enjoyed the costume design in this movie.
Yeah.
The salmon of knowledge you are all about.
I'm all about that salmon of knowledge. That's gonna be my tag. One of my tags now is salmon of knowledge.
Salmon of knowledge.
Yeah.
He's a fish.
Yeah. Fun fact: if you want to bump into me online, if there's a good chance if you see someone in an online multiplayer game named Freddy Freaker, that's me.
That is a good chance. Yeah.
Yeah. Insert the little GIF here of
leave it to me
of the party freak. I just, it was fun. I really enjoyed the music. That's like the highlight for me. Like the highest high of this movie for me is actually the music because
especially during the end scene.
Yeah, because the movie, it can drag a little in certain areas.
Slow-paced.
It's very slow paced.
Yeah, it's interesting because with all the cuts, there's certain parts where it feels like it's rushed and other parts where it feels like it's slow.
Yeah, I feel like there's an I feel like if you add some stuff in and take some other stuff out, there's a good paced film in this because I really like how it starts, and then shortly after the first end sequences, it kind of drags a bit for me.
Until you get to the end.
Until you get to Lord Summersile, and they bring Lord Summersile in it. If I have one major critique of this movie, it's Lord Summersile should have been in it sooner. and
Yes.
longer.
Longer, yes.
Yeah.
Because Christopher Lee, just like anything,
He steals the scene.
steals the scene. He's the highlight of the entire thing.
Absolutely. Especially when you meet him in his manner.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if I had a favorite scene outside of the iconic ending to this film that everybody knows, it's probably the temptation scene. I really like that.
The in temptation scene?
Yeah, the way it's shot and stuff is really good.
Yeah.
And it's really intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just because I'm a pervert. I am a pervert. I'm an ethical pervert. But I just like that scene. I think it's good.
D, I'm going to be 100% honest with you.
Yeah.
The only difference between our inclinations in that regard is that I am way less vocal about them.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
You are saying what I'm sure
I say it loud and proud.
You're saying what the three of us are probably thinking.
I've literally wanted to go to kink festivals and parades. Like, come on.
So
Might see us there sometime.
I like this movie.
There's one in Pennsylvania I want to go to. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like this movie a lot. Its slow pace can be to its detriment at times, but I also think that it serves to make the utter escalation of the climax stand out.
Yeah.
And there's atmosphere-wise, cinematography-wise, and musically, I think it's in a class by itself. A lot of good use of traditional, like, folk songs, acoustic music, and instrumental pieces. And
Lordy, there's a lot of naked people in this film.
There
there
are.
are. In fact, that might just be a pattern for stuff coming up. Hint, hint.
Whoops.
We accidentally picked a theme with that.
There's gonna be a lot of tits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You don't know the half of it. But
hey, we get to reference one of another one of our favorite things: tubular, boobular fun.
Oh my god.
say, fellas, there sure is a lot of flesh in this film, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Little joke for our viewers out there. Look down at your chests and spell attic.
What?
Look down at your chests and spell the word attic.
I'm not doing that.
See, it's starting to click for D, but they're being very generous and not ruining my joke. That'll be a editing, Richie.
Yeah.
Joke. Anyway, we talked about Christopher Lee and what a good performance he gives in this movie. But I think that Edward Woodward is also a worthy subject of discussion because he
does play the character of this cop is a piece of shit in a very annoying way.
Yes.
Not in like a I'm going to beat up this child kind of way, just like this guy's just so fucking annoying.
So puritanical.
Yeah.
So officious. Shocker, law enforcement being officious.
Yeah.
But
he's like, I'll have you arrested for contempt of whatever. I'm like, what the... You don't even know what's going on here, dude.
Like, he plays wonderfully off of Christopher Lee in the few scenes that they have together. Mm-hmm. Because that staunchly conservative Christian attitude of his is juxtaposed wonderfully by Lord Summerisle and how laid back and affable he is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure, he presents himself as a bit of a bombastic leader of the community of Summerisle,
mm-hmm.
but he's also borderline fatherly?
He's very paternal and very charismatic.
And you can, like...
But, like, more in a comforting way than in, like, a cultish way.
Yeah, like, you'd You'd think that this prototypical folk horror movie would have him be domineering and...
Would have him be like, I am the cult father who has 27 wives or whatever.
Was that the camera?
It's plugged in. What the heck?
Please tell me that everything's okay.
Oh.
What?
No, give me a second. Oh, okay.
What happened?
Oh, I see what happened. We forgot to delete the videos from the last time. So the so right now memory.
So we get cut off?
Delete from me first. Yeah. Just
Post. Sorry about that, everybody.
The camera ran out of internal memory. Whoops.
Whoopsie.
Whoopsie doopsie.
Anyway, as I was saying, Lord Summerisle, you'd think that a movie like this would frame him as the domineering guy who's got everyone's hearts and minds in his hands, but he actually cares about his people and about the land on which their crop grows.
Yeah.
And it honestly seems like he has more compassion in his heart than Howie, who is
He
just...
definitely does, because Howie is way too judgmental.
Yeah.
And he's just like, if it's not Christian, it's not worth it.
And that's the main thing that I love about this movie, is that it kind of subverts the hero-villain dynamic of horror movies, wherein the main character is supposed to be the guy who's cutting through and getting to the bottom of the truth and trying to pull the wool off of the eyes of everyone. But
this guy's just an asshole.
He's a judgmental prick, and the townspeople are right to say he bites off more than he can chew.
Yeah.
I'm like...
Yeah, Lily Mae Morrison says that.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the pagans, I want to party with these guys.
Yeah, they seem cool. They seem pretty cool.
I
mean, the murdering stuff's like, yeah, it's not great, but...
It's like, it's not great. Neither is the animal sacrifice.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
Not a fan of that, but...
The cop punched people.
Yeah, I mean, can't you do, like, like, symbolic sacrifices? I know some pagans say that.
Yeah, and burn some incense or whatever.
Burn, like, an
Or, like, fast for a day
like,
or
effigies,
Yeah.
Burning effigies or whatever.
This movie does weird things to your perspective.
You took it a little too far.
Or by setting a bunch of shit on fire with live people and animals.
I mean, did that guy, like, kind of have it coming?
Yeah, kinda.
I mean, again, that's what I love about the movie. It flips things on its head. Mm-hmm. Most people, including the Nick Cage remake, would...
it's funny.
Just...
I sorry to cut you off, but I was thinking about the fact that, like, with this movie, I always thought, like, yep, and that's how it ends. And I'm like, wait, but, like, what? He was sent there by the mainland? Like...
No, he got a letter sent to him from the mainland.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's from the island, because someone sent a letter from the island saying, like, hey, this girl is missing, we need your help.
Yeah.
And it was a trap the entire time.
Yeah, but, like, you still think, like, a cop, they would, like, the police would be like, hey, one of our officers just went missing?
Continue the discussion while I think through.
Yeah. And, like, but I also had a thought of, like, well, this was also the 70s, so if they go there, if they do investigate him going missing, and they go there, they'll just be like, hey, have you seen that guy? Oh.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh!
It'll just be a repeat.
Yeah.
No evidence.
Yeah.
No evidence.
They set him on fire. Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers for the ending.
Yeah. Timestamp 44. Anyway.
We kind of have been jumping in and out of spoilers this whole time.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, the poster kind of spoils the ending.
And like half the movie.
The title
is a spoiler.
Is a spoiler because...
Fun fact, this movie is, like, got such, like, fans and cultural influence that there's even a Wicker Man roller coaster at Alton Towers in the UK.
I love that.
It is a wooden coaster. Here's my favorite part about I'm going to geek out about coasters.
Totally didn't go to an amusement park before
Yeah, it's
this.
totally not a side effect of part of why I'm tired today.
Amusement parks.
So, what?
It's a side effect of amusement parks is talking about amusement parks.
So,
expect this to be a running bit, by the way.
absolutely. Especially now that I've got Richie hooked on coasters again.
Yay, I'm 12 again. Anyway.
So, it was constructed in Alton Towers. It's a really neat little ride. But my favorite part, the big centerpiece of the ride, is they actually have, and this references actual pagan stuff. The head of the Wicker Man statue is actually two-faced.
Oh, okay. I like that.
What's that symbolize?
Can you guess what they are?
Is it the sun and the moon, or?
The Green Man and the Horn.
Oh, the Green Man and the Horn
Queen?
God.
Yeah. Horn God.
Horn God?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was gonna say the Green Man and something else, but my mind was blinking because I'm tired.
that's okay. But Green Man and the Horn God, and it's on fire.
I love that.
Yeah, and the way they do it, they light it on fire when the cars go through, so it feels like you're being thrown into a burning Wicker Man when you go through it.
Ooh.
Oh.
But what's interesting, as I know what you're thinking, how is that safe?
It's far enough away.
No.
Oh?
What?
The Wicker Man part is the only actual part that's not wood.
Oh, okay.
So it's flame
It's
retardant,
metal.
basically, right?
It's metal that's been treated to look like wood.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because you could take metal and paint it to make it look like wood.
Yeah. It's just treated metal that looks like wood. So it's the only part of the coaster that's actually not wood. Yeah.
I like that.
It's a cool coaster. There's videos on it you can watch and like stuff and see it. I just love when cultural stuff influences stuff without being a direct adaptation. That's why I love the Jersey Devil coaster down at
Six Flags.
At Six Flags, because it takes from our cultural folklore. I love folklore. It's like one of my favorite things in existence.
Talk about the Pine Barrens and.
Oh yeah.
Other leads.
Yeah, like it's one of my big passions. Like I honestly think in another, I think if in another like life I might have gone to college. Yeah, I might have gone to college for folklore studies and like
or like anthropology.
Or anthropology and stuff, and like study that because it's fascinating. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I like about this movie. It digs in the pagan folklore and stuff. It's just an interesting movie.
Yeah, like jumping over the flames for fertility rituals and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this movie, we call it folk horror. I'd say it's more of like thriller because of its atmosphere. But that cinematography is so good at cultivating that atmosphere. A lot of good tracking shots and match cuts, especially like you said, the temptation scene. There's some iconic wide shots there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Take that however you want to interpret it. Anyway, told you we're one and the same in that regard. Anyway, but the landscape shots are especially beautiful. And when that title burning happens, the way the flames are shot to blend with the sunset.
Oh, I love it so much.
It's like painting with cinematography. And you get a lot of good POV shots as well. Semi POV shots from the crowd.
Yeah.
As how he's walking through. Like either through the open fields or in the taverns. I love those because it puts you right in the middle of it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just distracted trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with Drac. I think he's got something stuck on his back.
Dracula is playing with something over by the coat racks.
Hey.
What are you doing?
Well, he's also got something stuck on his ball.
Oh.
Maybe found a bug or something.
Oh yeah, there was a moth in here.
Oh yeah, it was
flying by the...
Funny enough, it was flying up at the lamps while we were filming, and I was waiting for one of you to notice it, and you never commented.
Well, I noticed it, I just didn't comment. I was like, huh. We went back to what we were doing. Dracula, get...
Drac. Turns out that the real Celtic beast was this little demon.
Yeah. I think he found it because he's chewing on something. Poor moth. Anyway.
I mean,
Drax doing a job
everything that
Richie has said about the cinematography, I 100% agree with. Even like the close-up scenes in the tavern make it feel so claustrophobic.
Oh, absolutely.
Because Howie's an outsider going into a place that is completely alien to him, and he's just like, and with the close-up shots, it makes it feel like you're almost in a situation where you're like trapped in a place you're unfamiliar with.
I think the shots leading up to the burning of the Wicker Man are great too, because while it's been revealed that the missing child was a trap to get him in line to be the sacrifice, because he's a fool, and
he is the fool.
Yes,
he's Punch.
He is Punch. He was beautiful setup, by the way, with him disguising himself as Punch only to actually be the fool for sacrifice.
Sacrifice as the fool, yeah.
But I love the shots that are just of Howie's face than Summer Isle's.
Mm-hmm.
Because it once again highlights the duality. Howie's face, I've noticed, had his back to the sun.
Yeah.
Whereas the sun is shining on Summer Isle.
Summer Isle, yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I was also gonna mention, you wanna know who they wanted to get to play? They wanted to get to play Howie.
Who?
Michael York. And he turned down the role. Imagine
Good actor.
Brian from Cabaret.
Good actor, but I'm not sure if he would have...
Yeah, he was like, I'm not doing this. This is way too insane.
And I don't think he would have the officious, stiff upper lip authority that Woodward conveyed.
Yeah, also... I think Michael York was also having some scheduling conflicts, because when they were filming this was around the same time they were filming Cabaret, I'm pretty sure.
One of the best performances of his career, obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
And as for Wicker Man, I dare say one of Lee's best, which is saying something.
Well, Christopher Lee said that this was his favorite performance he's done.
And that's saying something because...
Look at his filmography.
I've always admired Christopher Lee because, D, you're a Kingdom Hearts person, right?
Yeah, he's great in it. Yeah.
He's great in it, and he has said that he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
He has said, for the record, he has never really disliked a movie that he has been in.
Yeah.
He said, I've been in bad movies, but I would have never forgiven myself if I gave a bad performance.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Oh, he was, but seriously, in Kingdom Hearts, he was a fantastic Ansem.
Yeah, he was.
And another reason I respect him, a bit of a tangent, I'm sorry, but do you know the story about Star Wars: The Clone Wars, D?
You've probably told me it.
Probably.
Yeah.
The one about how he voiced Count Dooku. Yeah, he came back to voice Count Dooku in one thing, but then Corey Burton voice doubled him for others. And he complimented Burton for a job well done because he straight up couldn't tell the difference.
Nice.
It's like, did I do that? I don't remember doing that.
Rightfully so, because Corey Burton is fucking insane as a voice actor.
Yeah.
That his Tony Jay and Christopher Lee impressions in particular are insane, but I digress. This movie's great. It aged well, and honestly,
yeah,
it's kind of depressing how relevant its commentary is.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway.
Did you have extra trivia you wanted to bring up?
I did. Let me bring it up.
Because she has a lot of notes.
I had a lot of notes.
Yeah, like bring up some of your
more trivia. Like,
and then we can close this out.
I'm not the only.
Oh, I have one.
Oh, cool.
So, a scene of this movie, I believe it was the final scene, was actually used in the 2012 London Olympics opening ceremony.
Oh yeah.
As a section on British history.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. Because they're like, we'll acknowledge our pagan roots by showing a clip from the Wicker Man.
Alright then.
I don't know what he has. There's a cat.
There's a cat.
Yeah.
Halfway through production, Hardy announced to the cast and crew, it was a musical. Imagine being halfway through a film and they just tell you, oh, by the way, there's going to be song and dance numbers.
I was like, wait, what?
Funny enough,
everyone's like, wait, what?
Funny enough, those are probably the best scenes in the movie, especially the ending with Summers coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun fact about Summers coming in. It is possibly one of the oldest English language songs.
We're talking Middle English here.
It actually is Middle English, I believe. I want to say it dates back to like at least the 10th century, but let me check. Actually, no. It's part of an English round. It dates to actually around the mid 12th to 13th century.
Yeah.
But the sheet music has survived.
Somehow. That is fucking ancient.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at the monks who, like, preserved everything back in the day.
Yeah. Glad you brought this to our table, though, Erin.
Yeah, honestly, this is one of those movies I've been meaning to revisit for a while, and I just thought, why not?
I mean, it's been established that all three of us have movies that could have easily been covered earlier in our list.
Yeah.
Like,
Drag that to pen. He's trying to eat a pen.
Discipline your child.
Well, he's just sniffing right now.
Oh, never mind.
Okay, do not break my Switch.
I think he's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway.
I'm surprised that The Crow was as late an episode as it was.
Yeah. Seriously.
It's funny, speaking of The Crow, how I was like, I want to read the comic before I watch the movie. Never got around to reading the comic, watch the movie for the podcast.
I mean, it's basically the same.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
pretty faithful.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you got there?
Just next.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there wasn't... I went through a lot of the trivia early on. Most of the stuff on here I had in my notes was kind of just being redundant.
Okay.
Yeah, Roger Corman, several cuts of the film, Mark
Olympics.
Gatiss, Olympics. Oh, two things I forgot to mention. One, they did a play adaptation at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in 2009.
Oh.
It premiered in London in 2011.
Huh.
So they actually did. So it started out as like an art piece, like at Edinburgh Fringe. Which, if you're familiar with Edinburgh Fringe, well, you know what it is. If you're not, it's one of the biggest arts festivals in the world. Is the Fringe Festival. They have different branches in like different parts of the world. There's like a New York Fringe. I think there's an LA Fringe. But the really big one, from what I've heard, is Edinburgh.
Interesting.
And there is a spiritual successor called The Wicker Tree.
The Wicker Tree?
It was directed by Robin Hardy.
Okay.
Same director. Got mixed reviews, but Christopher Lee was involved.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a kind of sequel. Sorta, kinda.
So it's like an Evil Dead 2 situation.
Basically, yeah. Let me see if I can find the notes about it, because it's supposed to be...
If any of you wants
Here we are. It came out in 2011.
If any of you wants to use a request to put Evil Dead 2, I'd love to talk about that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't shut the fuck up about that movie.
That is true.
That'll be like our first 2-hour one, probably.
So, instead of a cop who's like going to investigate a thing, it's about born again evangelicals who are like go out. I think it's supposed to be in the desert. Actually, they're from Texas, and then they somehow end up in Scotland.
Okay.
So
And
it's like
then
an
it's like
American spin on it?
Kind of. I'm just skimming the Wikipedia article. It says they belong to, it's evangelical shit, just being like, take the plot of the Wicker Man, but change the plot, the main character to be like two evangelical Christians from Texas instead of a cop who, but they're on like they're on a mission basically.
Similar.
Yeah, but instead of being like, we're gonna look for this girl, we're like, we are going to convert these people, and of course it doesn't work.
Oh, so they're missionaries, basically.
Yeah, there are missionaries, yeah.
Actually, doesn't sound like a bad premise.
It got really bad reviews.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Well, you know, sometimes...
Because they were like, this is just a rehashing of the first movie.
It's the same one, just...
Yeah, it's based off another book that was supposed to be, I think, a sequel to Ritual, called Cowboys for Christ.
Also, by making them American, you lose some of the colonial subtext, you know, with England and Scotland.
Yeah, you do. If anything, it goes backwards.
But that is a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I don't have much else, to be honest.
Final thoughts?
Good movie.
This is the movie that got me into folk horror, to be honest. Yeah. So, yeah. And that's one of my favorite genres of horror.
Foundational for this one.
Yes, definitely a foundational.
A little slow, but I still enjoyed it. And, my complaints are mostly minor.
Yeah.
Same. This is a...
Yeah. As we mentioned, sometimes the pacing can be a little slow or a little fast, but I don't see it as too much of a detriment.
Yeah.
This is a highly intelligent and layered horror movie that I think everyone needs to see at one point.
Yes.
And I'm glad you helped me revisit it, Erin. Thank you. That said, the rotation once again falls to our ringleader,
who is so happy to be bringing you into episode 69. Nice.
Oh my god.
You people have no idea how much anticipation was instilled into this one over the numeric order. This, made their month.
It really did. It really did.
Actually, we were thinking about this 2 months ago. You're like, oh shit, mine's episode 69.
I was like,
no.
It was the Punisher gift. Wait.
So, our next one is topical for several reasons. Mm-hmm. This director has just had a pretty popular release come out that's doing pretty well at the box office right now. I am, of course, talking about Clown in a Cornfield, adapted from the great book by Adam Cesare, who I've met before. He's a very nice man.
Yeah, we all have.
Yeah, we've all met him. He's a great guy. Shout out to Adam. This just came out, and it's the Clown in a Cornfield just came out. It's getting good reviews. Mm-hmm. It's the third film from Eli Craig, who deserves more movies. Studios, give this guy more movies. This is only his third movie.
Yeah, and how long ago did this one come out?
I think, Jesus, we might be on the 10th anniversary.
Are we?
Oh, we're past that.
Holy
15 years.
Holy shit.
Damn.
So, that's sad.
Yeah.
Because that means he's been getting a movie on average once every 7 years.
Oh.
Because the last one was Little Evil in 2017.
Oh,
Which,
that was 8 years ago.
which also got good reviews.
Yeah. Give this guy more money.
Anyway, we're covering his first ever film, the 2010 release, another horror film, and a bit of a parody deconstruction. We will be covering one of the most delightfully subversive movies ever, because probably one of the most hated tropes for a lot of people who are socially conscious in horror is hillbilly horror.
Yes.
Understandably so.
Yes.
Do not get people from the South started on the Wrong Turn movies.
Yeah, or Deliverance.
So we are covering a film that skewers stuff like that. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And The Hills Have Eyes. I, of course, am talking about the delightful horror comedy Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which we are going to be covering soon, which I'm excited about because we'll be covering it after Memorial Day, just after Memorial Day, and this film is set during Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
So, get to hear about how two lovable backwoods friends are
with
just
a dog.
with a dog are just trying to have a nice May weekend, Memorial Day weekend, when a bunch of college kids get involved and crap happens.
Yeah.
So join us next week for the
Bunch of yuppie ass college students come here.
Yeah, for the absolutely delightful Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Next week on Killer Score.
See you next time.